Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and in today's video, we'll be talking about the all-new Chevy Silverado ZR1. Before getting into the video though, as always, if you want to save time and money the next time you purchase a car, link to my car buying guide in the description down below. Let's get right into it. So let's talk about the specs on this Chevy Silverado ZR1, the Silverado that everyone has been waiting for. So first off, supercharged 6.2 liter V8 under the hood, and has the same power outputs as the Cadillac Escalade V, 682 horsepower at 6,000 RPMs, and then 653 pound-feet of torque at 4,400 RPMs, paired to a 10-speed automatic transmission. However, the transmission has been retuned to give the Silverado quicker shifts so that it feels sportier and more responsive. If you guys are wondering why they did the exact same power outputs, it's because they know that those power outputs work reliably with the Escalade, and so they don't want to do anything too crazy for this truck. Obviously, they could have jumped over the 700 horsepower mark to make it so that they're in the same league as the Ram TRX and the Ford Raptor are, but I mean, at least we're getting a supercharged V8. Now, some other stuff. First off, we got to talk about the weight difference with this truck. So right now, the Chevy Silverado ZR2 weighs a bit, well, the curb weight at least is a bit over 5,600 pounds. And obviously, this new supercharged Silverado is going to weigh a little bit more than that. Just in engine weight, we're talking over 130 more pounds, which is quite substantial. And there is some extra body work on this truck we'll talk about in a little bit that adds even more weight. But everything taken into account, this truck still somehow weighs less than the Ram TRX, but it weighs slightly more than the Ford Raptor R at about 6,100, 6,200 pounds, depending on how you spec it out. So it's right in between, which might make it the sweet spot from a performance standpoint. Now, we also have to talk about the bodywork changes. So everyone's been asking for a wide body Silverado, and well, Chevy's giving us a wide body Silverado. So basically, just like on the Raptor and on the TRX, you have these extended fiberglass fenders and larger fender flares to basically make the truck have a much more aggressive stance, wider track overall, and the track is quite wide compared to a standard Silverado. It is an additional 8 inches wider, so it does require the federally mandated marker lights just like the Raptor and just like the Ram TRX, but again, it gives it this cool beefy appearance. Now, what Chevy is doing is they're making 35s as standard, and that will be the only tire option available for the truck, but they have said that 37s will be something that you will be able to add to the truck, similar to the Hummer EV where it comes standard with 35s and that's all you can get, but you can just throw 37s on the Hummer EV if you want. So you could have this have the same exact tire size as the Ford Raptor R so that it'll fight against the Ford Raptor R. The Ram TRX can't claim that because, well, if you throw 37s on a Ram TRX, then any sort of big suspension compression makes those tires collide into the wheel well, and it's not a pretty sound whatsoever. Moving on from that, they're going to stick with off-road ready wheels, so 18-inch wheels, just like what Ram does, and that's just because they want to be able to fit the whole rotor and brake caliper setup within the wheel. They couldn't really do that with 17-inch wheels, so I guess that Ford will still have 17s, and then Ram and Chevy will have 18-inch wheels. But again, at least they're not like massive like 19s or 20s. They could have gone that route, and well, that would have been kind of embarrassing. But again, you guys can kind of visualize this whole setup, you know, again, the wider body with the larger tires. And then if we jump from that to the interior of this truck, it's basically going to have all the same updates that the new Silverado has. So you're going to get a nice digital gauge cluster, nice digital infotainment system that's obviously a touchscreen just like the new Silverado. And something that's really cool about this truck is just like the ZR2, it's actually going to have a front locker as well as a rear locker. So it'll be the only truck in this segment that'll have both front and rear lockers, which is, you know, very interesting. I'm not exactly sure why they decided to go that route, because again, this is supposed to be like a high-speed off-road Baja truck with a big V8, but you know what? Chevy can do whatever Chevy wants to do. Now, something I think is interesting is they're offering 2 different interior options with this truck, and I think the reason they're doing this is because they're not going to be making a GMC equivalent with this truck. So like with the ZR2, if you want a more luxurious interior, they have the AT4X, but this is just going to be a Silverado, again, ZR1. So they're gonna have like a resist interior that is identical to the interior on the Silverado ZR2. So it's like an easy to clean interior, and that's the quote unquote base interior. But you can upgrade to a more luxurious interior that's basically the same interior that's in the AT4X, so that you get more luxury options, including massaging seats in a Silverado. And again, kind of weird because it's an off-road truck, and I mean, massaging seats is kind of weird. Some other interesting options is they are going to offer a sunroof on this truck, but not a panoramic, just the same like regular sunroof that they offer. So this will be the only truck in segment that doesn't have a full panoramic sunroof. And I purposely left out shocks for the last possible moment. So obviously Chevy worked with Multimatic for the ZR2 Colorado and the Silverado, and no different with this truck. So we're going to have 3 cool supercharged V8 trucks with 3 different shock systems. So Multimatic shocks again. Now these shocks are actually more similar to the shocks on the Ford Bronco DR. If you guys don't know what that is, it's a very limited edition V8 Bronco that's basically a Baja truck. It's not even street legal. And so Multimatic is basically taking the technology from the Bronco DR and, well, kind of selling it to Chevy in this supercharged wide body truck. And so it's still a multi-chamber system, and well, it'll be interesting to see how it actually performs in the real world, if it'll be able to keep up with the Bilstein Blackhawk shocks, and if it'll be able to keep up with the Fox shocks that the Ford Raptor R has. And now that we've gotten to this portion of the video, I need to let you guys know that, well, this truck doesn't exist, but you guys can see how easy it was for me to put this truck together. And the reason I wanted to make this video is I wanted to basically hopefully show Chevy that there's a lot of, I'm sure a lot of people in the comment section below, they're gonna be like, initially with this video, I'm super excited. This is gonna be such a cool truck. Again, it doesn't exist. And I'm hoping that Chevy sees that and realizes that they should build this truck. Again, it's as simple as doing bigger fenders, bigger fender flares, bigger tires. They already work with Multimatic, which knows how to build race series Baja shocks, right? They already have, again, a great platform, the new Silverado, that has a really nice upscale interior that would work for customers in this price segment. And they already have the engine in another vehicle. Like, they have everything that they could just throw together. And yeah, obviously there are some engineering things that have to go into place for this to work, but there's a company that makes the Yanko Silverados, right, that have a supercharged V8 under the hood, and they seem to make that work. They have an off-road package, and if they can make that work, I think GM can definitely make this work. So again, sad that they don't make this truck, and I hope that me talking about this shows how simple it would be for GM to release this truck. And you know, hopefully they'll change their mind and they'll release something like this within the next year or so, so that we can have a cool off-road truck from each of the manufacturers. And I want you guys to let me know in the comment section below, with everything that I just described in this video, if you would buy that truck. I mean, frankly, if Chevy made that truck, I would buy that truck, because I think everything that I just mentioned, wide body, crazy V8, crazy shocks, all that, I mean, it only makes sense. So with that being said, sorry about that. But anyways, I'll see all of you guys in the next video.